Good afternoon to all the dear members at our congregation. I hope you're finding your time at home to be very pleasant together with your spouse and with your children, Be'ezrat Hashem. There's a very interesting observation that has taken place since the release of many of the Chinese from their quarantine. And that is that on the day they were released from their quarantine, over 300 couples came to file for divorce. Chas v'shalom. The question is why? What's going on? The answer? They weren't used to being together for such a long period of time. But it's something more substantial than that. It's only natural for people who are locked into confinement, for long intervals of time, to have a difference of opinion, which is very common. Every marriage has a difference of opinion. However, we have to remember that it's not the difference of opinion that should be responsible for us either loving each other or chas v'shalom on the contrary. When a person is driving on the highway, he's going at 60 miles an hour, let's say. But if there's some sort of obstruction on the road, he slows down. He uses the brakes. In a marriage, the mechanism is very much similar. If a person sees a danger, for example, his spouse is getting into a quarrel with him, he has to remember to learn to apply the brakes, to learn to stop. When you're in the middle of a heated argument, there's no point in continuing and going back and forth. We have to keep in mind what our rabbis tell us. The Gemara says, what's the merit, meaning, how does Hashem keep the world going? On what does the earth float? And the Gemara says, Toleh haaretz al blima. Hashem keeps the world going al mishe bolem piv bishat meriva. He keeps the world going on the merit of those people who keep their mouth quiet, who silence themselves at a time of anger and at a time of quarrel. Rabotai, we're in quarantine, Baruch Hashem, together with our wives, together with our kids, and ladies, together with our husbands. We have to remember that now is the time to learn to make a marriage work, not to get into little bickering, not to get into little arguments for no reason. Now's the time to complement each other, to bring the best out of each other, because this is what it is. We're not going anywhere. We're together, Baruch Hashem. What a blessing, what a bracha. We have to remember that the marriage is the blessing that God blessed Adam with. This is the highest level that you can be blessed with. It's to have a spouse and to be together with him or her. There are two levels in a marriage. The first level is something called shalom, peace. To have peace in your home. What that means is that there's no arguing. And when there is arguing, you resolve it. There's always compromise on both parties. That's level one. It's called shalom. Then there's the second level. And what's that? That's called simcha, happiness, where you're happy to be in each other's presence. But what is the secret? What's that secret, that recipe that we need in order to make sure our marriages have peace and our marriages have happiness? The answer, the most critical answer, is something called complimenting. To compliment, to praise your spouse, to tell him, wow, what a husband I have, what a wife I have. And by doing so, what we do is we bring the good out of each other, and we want to be better. But the most detrimental thing in your marriage, especially at a time like this, is something called criticism. You tell your spouse you're lazy. You tell your spouse you don't do X, Y, and Z. That's the most detrimental thing you can have in a marriage. Rabotai, now we are 2 weeks from Passover. There's a lot to do in the house. And every husband has to get up and help his wife. But a woman's job at this point is to try to contain herself and not to criticize her husband. And a husband's job is to compliment his wife. If we implement this into our marriages, I guarantee that within the next few days, your marriages will blossom just like the trees are blossoming so beautifully outside. May we all be zochim to have shalom and to have simcha in our marriages. Thank you. Have a nice day.